Thinking about this as well. Yesterday, I was trying to get a sense for how to play Rambling on My Mind. I was just looking up, YouTube videos, doing the shortcuts per usual, which I didn't really rely on much, to be honest. But one of the things I came across was Eric Clapton's version of Rambling on My Mind. And let me start by saying I have I have a real hard time separating Clapton's racist rant from his artistry, particularly because this man was on stage profiting significantly. It's not like he made $100 and needed to keep traveling from town to town to play at dive bars to make a living, like most of the people he was influenced by. This guy made millions and millions of dollars off. He did put in the work, obviously, but off the creativity and hard work of a largely black community, if not all black community. We're talking about old Delta blues and, Chicago style blues. And then he went on stage playing music that was obviously heavily influenced and borrowed from by these people, and then goes on this racist rant saying, if you're black, get the fuck out of here, basically. So that short-sightedness of the danger he was putting the people in the crowd, and the fact that he had so many people coming to watch him because of the culture that he was appropriating from, it bothers me in a way that it's a hard pill to swallow. That aside, as I was watching his performance, I realized, man, this guy, I knew Eric Clapton was good, but, now with my musical knowledge, past tense, past Edwin, would have thought pretty much anyone was good who was up there doing a decent job, but there was something very authentic about how he was playing. It was obviously not as raw or as passionate as Johnson, who lived a very hard life, even though by the standards of his colleagues, he lived kind of a more, I don't want to say pampered, but a better life, more middle class type life, because he was educated, had some formal training in music, knew how to read and write. But he still lived a very hard life. He was out there picking cotton. He used to get the shit kicked out of him by his stepdad for playing music. He never really had a lot of money, always had to travel from town to town. Got his ass kicked by cops for playing music publicly. So he lived a very rough life. His fucking his teenage first wife, died while giving birth. And his family blamed him because saying he was the devil. Playing the devil's music. Anyway, you hear that through his music. And while Clapton didn't have that, you can tell it was fueled by real raw emotions. And the first thing I thought was if this British white dude can do this, I obviously can. I just need to learn how to channel that when I'm putting it into music. Because while I didn't live Robert Johnson's life, I'm very fortunate in that respect. If you compare myself to my colleagues, I'm more of a Son House than a Robert Johnson. Maybe Son House is not the right example, but by all stretches of the imagination, maybe more Leadbelly than Robert Johnson. My mom was out of the picture. Both my parents were addicts. Pretty much raised myself. I got kicked out of my house at 17 after my aunt put me out, and I've been on my own ever since, just trying to figure it out. I should say, getting back to Clapton, that to give him credit, there is kind of a complicated relationship he had, because he was one of the first people to start giving credit to these older musicians. He would reference Robert Johnson, hey, this is a Johnson song, or, this is a whoever song. And then he also opened doors for these older bluesmen like Muddy Waters to start playing across seas and give their music a wider audience, which helped propel them into, being worldwide phenomenons. But in any event, I think the lesson here for me is I should let my raw emotions, these experiences I have, drive the sound that I'm trying to create. At the end of the day, it puts me in the lineage that I want to be in. That Robert Johnson, that Muddy Waters, that Sly, that Prince lineage. So I thought it was important to stop and reflect on that.